The game that spoke for itself. A night of hockey glory. Thursday night's Four Nations final between Canada and the United States wasn't just a hockey game, it was a spectacle, a battle, and a testament to the raw, unfiltered magic of the sport. Canada's thrilling 3-2 overtime victory wasn't merely about who took home the trophy, it was a moment that reminded the world why hockey, in its purest form, is the greatest game on earth. If there was one flaw in the night, it was that the game didn't stretch longer, because, let's be honest, a single overtime period just wasn't enough. This game had everything: heart-stopping saves, jaw-dropping goals, and a level of intensity that made every second feel like life or death. It deserved to go past midnight, pushing the limits of endurance, both for the players and the fans glued to their screens. A night of hockey's biggest names. If you were scripting a perfect ending for a high-stakes international showdown, it wouldn't look much different than this. The country that lives and breathes hockey came out on top. The sport's most famous face, Connor McDavid, netted the golden goal. The man many argue is the best player in the world, Nathan MacKinnon, walked away as tournament MVP. And Jordan Binnington, who hadn't felt this dominant since his storybook Stanley Cup run 6 years ago, put on a goaltending clinic, reminding everyone why he thrives in the biggest moments. Hockey has these rare windows in time when everything aligns perfectly, and right now, the sport is basking in one of those moments. With the NBA All-Star Weekend floundering in a sea of indifference and criticism, hockey seized its opportunity. It didn't just outshine the competition, it completely obliterated it. The US-Canada rivalry, long overshadowed by the now dormant US-Russia Cold War narrative, is finally getting the recognition it deserves. The game's rising intensity, fueled by the fiery, take-no-prisoners style of the Tkachuk brothers, has reignited the sport's primal edge. Even something as simple as the national anthem, typically just another pre-game formality, felt charged with energy, as if setting the stage for the war that was about to unfold. The cost of a spectacle. But let's not pretend everything about the night was pure. With the good comes the bad, and in this case, the bad arrived in the form of the ever-present undercurrent of nationalism. The current political climate in the US has amplified an unnecessary edge to this rivalry, fueled by those who see sports as yet another battleground in their culture war. The fact that Matthew Tkachuk and ESPN's ever-opinionated PK Subban found themselves wrapped in political discourse, intentionally or not, only added to the noise. Even ESPN, in its attempts to channel nostalgia with endless references to Miracle and Kurt Russell's famous pregame speech, felt like it was playing directly to an audience hungry for something bigger than just hockey. And let's not ignore the simple truth: if William Nylander had buried his chance in overtime during the tournament's first game, Canada might never have reached the final. That one goal by Mitch Marner set in motion the chain of events that led us here. If Sweden had won that night, the script would have been torn apart, and the US-Canada showdown, with all its fights, fury, and drama, might never have happened. And let's be honest, nobody was tuning in to see how Scandinavia was handling the tournament. That's just not how this works. The vacuum hockey filled. Timing is everything, and hockey found itself in the right place at the right time. The NBA All-Star Weekend wasn't just a disappointment, it was a train wreck, and fans were desperate for something to latch onto. The league's inability to fix its glaring issues, both on and off the court, left a void. Enter the Four Nations tournament, which, at least for Canada and the US, filled that void perfectly. Make no mistake, though, this wasn't just a game that happened to get lucky with its timing. This was a showcase of everything hockey should be. The players weren't here to put on a show for the cameras, they were here to win. There was just one penalty all night, an insignificant tripping call on veteran Vincent Trocheck, and the rest of the game was played at full speed, with no room for nonsense. The US controlled more of the play, but in sudden death hockey, it's not always the best team that wins, it's the team with the best goalie. And on this night, Binnington was that guy. Time and time again, he stood tall, especially in the dying moments of the third period and overtime, when it felt like the Boston Ice was tilting entirely in the Americans' favor. It was the most poetic way for Canada to win, by relying on a hot goalie and having its generational superstar, McDavid, seal the deal. What happens now? If only McDavid had waited just a little longer to score. A 4-overtime thriller would have cemented this game as an all-time classic. Hockey's ethos has always been about endurance, about pushing through exhaustion until only one team is left standing. The fans might have groaned about staying up until 3 a.m., but deep down, they would have loved every second of it. But what comes next? Can hockey capitalize on this moment? That's the million-dollar question. The sport has always struggled to hold the attention of the American mainstream. Even when it delivers unforgettable moments, they tend to fade quickly in a country obsessed with the NFL, NBA, and college sports. If this tournament is to be more than just a fleeting spark, it will need a way to keep this energy alive. That's a problem for Gary Bettman and the league's marketing wizards to figure out. But for one night, none of that mattered. This game, this war on ice, was everything sports are supposed to be. It was pure, unscripted drama, where nothing felt forced and everything felt earned. Even the political nonsense and commercial opportunism couldn't ruin it. When the final buzzer sounded, only one truth remained: the game had spoken for itself. And it was glorious. A night to remember, and one to build on. Fire, ice hockey. This was more than just a game, it was a statement. A battle that will be talked about for years, a moment where hockey's raw passion eclipsed everything else in the sports world. But what do you think? Was this the greatest US-Canada showdown in recent history? Could this be the spark that reignites hockey's mainstream appeal? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like if you love the intensity of this game and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest moments in sports. Let's keep the conversation going, because nights like this deserve to be relived, again and again.